Hello there, and fellow animator. My name is Louis. I think that's already obvious enough. I'll have multiple guide videos to show you how to animate. In this part, we're going to be talking about the assets. So right here, as you can see, this is right now an FLA file with the assets in it. I'll be sending one. First off, we're going to start with what we see here. These are the assets. So zip lines are a special thing, which I don't know if they'll be used, but I can show them later in another part. PNGs, I would recommend not touching these unless you're of course curious, because some assets are PNGs and not vector graphics. What we'll be focusing on is these four stuff. Mouth is going to be another part. So first off, we're going to start with the body. As you can see in the body, we have multiple body assets from all the characters, and there's also different variations of different characters. For example, here you can see Overly without the hat, and here you can see with the hat. So we're just going to be putting my boy Swiss boy. When importing him, notice that my canvas size is a square right now, and this is basically the size. So when making a new file or a new animation file, I recommend going full HD already. For example, let's use the eyes, right? If you animate a BFDI, this should already all be obvious. These are basically reskinned BFDI eyes. So here we can see Woody, for example, which is an eye in the BFDI assets. So of course there are right and left sides looking at the top here. So please make sure you don't just grab one and just flip them around. Like this, for example. This is not recommended at all. I basically inserted one, as you can see here. So what I mean by the same size is when you put them, they are the perfect size as they are already. You don't need to resize them, they are already the perfect size. So that's a good thing. What's important, I really recommend you have a keybind for swapping symbols. Here, when I press F10, I can already get this swap symbol bar and then just mix out with someone else. So this is really useful. I set mine as F10. If you need to know how to change these, I think it's in edit and then keyboard shortcuts, swap symbols. Here you can see F10. Before you start resizing them, because you know that's a little bit too big for the canvas, I really recommend putting the assets first. So, for example, here we have another part of the assets, the hands. There are multiple hands. Usually the classic one is of course the circle one. So, I'm just gonna put this. So, these are the perfect size as they are. You don't need to downsize them. If you want to, you first have to put all the assets in and then you can downsize, or else it can cause the complications. One more thing about the hands. So how European humans work is, well, they don't have any legs, they don't have any arms, so their movement is really limited. When you animate, make sure that the body anchor point is at the bottom. I should have probably put that, but this is basically how they move. They like move from the bottom because they're basically like those board figurines. They move around like this. They could jump a little, but they can't move their head, only their full body. Maybe that will change someday. The other part or body part that could help them, show more movement is of course the hands. So in European humans, it mostly the case is that they have no arms at all. So what happens if they do have arms? Well, arms are always hidden in the back. So in case they want to, like, I don't know, point at something after they suddenly see something really cool, the hands are at the back, hiding, and then suddenly they come from the back and then they appear. So like they come from the back. So this is basically how they work. They don't just pop in. Don't do that unless it's like a special case, which I can't really think about. When they disappear again, they go back here and the body moves around a little bit. And yeah, basically that's all there is to it. The last part that we're going to talk about is the mouths. There's going to be another part for the mouths which is talking about the lip sync. So right now I don't have a lot of mouths here. That's because I didn't put them all here in this new FLA file of mine. But basically we have a lot of mouths. Now, need to remember all the other assets are movie clips. See that? See that symbol over here? That's a movie clip. These, however, are graphics. So when putting them in the canvas, going over here on the looping settings, you need to press them on play single frame for the graphic. So yeah, and like the same for the other assets, when you insert them in the canvas, they are already a perfect size. No need to resize them unless it looks a little bit weird. You are allowed to do that, but usually you don't need to do that. Now, what I like to mention is special assets. For example, this one. Now, this one is a self-made mouth, but basically, when I delete this, usually when you are animating orally, you need to use these eyes mostly, unless she's like traumatized or something. Here you can see the name, it's called eye orally. So whenever animating her, you need to use these ones. There's two different versions, one with the eyebrows and one without the eyebrows. So speaking of the eyebrows, here when you go on the eyes, you can see eyebrow sections. Here are multiple eyebrows. Some are white, some are black. Now why do we need white ones? Well, it's because mostly for characters like the British boy. He has a black top hat, so whenever he has an eyebrow, we can't see it because of the black hat. So we need to use the white eyebrow. Another example is when you're using Orally, you're gonna be using only 2 of these mouths, unless it's a special case, but I don't think so. So these two, since Orally always has a rose in her mouth, you need to use these. So as you can see, it's the perfect size and it's fully animated. Make sure to, of course, press on play single for great graphics. When on the mouth folder, do not press this or look into it unless you want to know or study, because these are basically a part of the multiple mouths. Since it's a movie clip and not a graphic like BFDI, it's gonna be a little bit different. You're not gonna swap symbols for this one. What you're gonna use is something else, which I'll be talking in a later part. So that's basically it. Now I can downsize her, and then we can finally start talking and animating her. I don't know. Let's see, look at her span. I don't know why I needed to add that, but thank you. This is part 1. Enjoy.